Hmm. Hmm.
Hello everybody, I'm Board B and today I'm going to teach you how to build a Pokemon trading card game deck. What I've always used in the past is this mat. It's a 2-player battle arena. Usually now the decks will come with a 1-player battle arena and you got to bring your own, but this one's awesome because it has both players on it. And on the back, it actually teaches you how to build a deck. And so basically what you want is 4 basic Pokemon in your deck. You want 2 different types. Usually, like, you want to be smart about it. You want to pick 2 that don't have the same weakness. Maybe one that's weak against the other. So if you're facing somebody with fire Pokemon and you have fire and water, then your water will be good against the fire. Or even if you have fire and grass, like one of your Pokemon is weak against the fire, but the other one is not. So you kind of want to have 2 different types and kind of be smart about what types so that they don't have the same weaknesses. And you're going to have 11 trainer cards and 14 of each energy card. So there's some rules when you're building a deck. You can't have 4 of the same named card other than with energy cards. So energy cards, you can have as many as you want. This is kind of a base, but if you wanted to add some extra basic Pokemon, you can. Like I usually will pick these 4 and then I'll add some normal cards because the normal type cards you can attach any energy to, and so it works with all of these decks. And I'll kind of play around. Like, you want trainers that you'll be able to pull out some basic Pokemon. You want trainers that you'll be able to pull out some energies. And you kind of want to practice with your deck to make sure that you're not only pulling energies or only pulling Pokemon and you're not getting any energy, and kind of work from that. But I usually start with this basic template to build my deck. And you can buy preset decks. I'm missing one card from here. I bought it in Italy, so it's written in Italian, and all the Pokemon attacks and stuff are written in Italian. So in North America, you actually can't use this deck, but in Europe, you can use this deck, and everywhere you can use English decks, but in certain regions, you can only use what language is in that region. So this Italian deck, I kind of bought it as a souvenir. I'm actually missing one card from it. So there's 59 cards in here. But every deck also will have 60 cards. And you can't go under, you can't go over. You want 60 cards in your deck. And so the first thing you want to do is you want to sort all of your cards. I have more cards now from pulling a bunch of cards, but these are what I did already. I've got Psychic and Fire cards, Grass cards, normal cards, Rock, Water, and Metal Fairy, and more Water. I have so many Water cards that I had to use 2. And trainers, and I believe in here, this black box, I've got more trainers. And what I've done already is I've got 4 decks built, so I can show you what I made. So this one is fighting and water. So I kind of tried to make like contrasting. So some fighting, some rock Pokemon are weak to water, and so that's why I chose water as my other type. So this deck is Psychic and Grass. Some Grass Pokemon are weak to Psychic. Possibly some Psychic Pokemon are weak to Grass. Usually, sometimes it's Psychic will be weak to Psychic. So maybe that isn't the best idea. Because if I'm facing a Psychic Pokemon, then the Grass and the Psychic will be weak against it. So maybe this one needs some adjusting. I just like it because it's my Mew deck. And I put the Mew deck sleeves on it. This deck is water and electric. Of course, water is usually weak against electric. And I even got some normal cards weak against electric in here. And then I have I have some Charmanders in here. So it would be cool too to do electric and fire, and have my electric Charmander evolve into a fire Pokemon. And this one is fire and grass, which is kind of always maybe the one I start with, or fire and water, because I have a lot of grass and I have a lot of water Pokemon. I don't have very many electric or psychic, so let's get started. So as you can see, you want 4 different basic Pokemon sets. Then 1 basic Pokemon is going to have 2 stage 1s. They're going to evolve once, and you're going to have a duplicate of that evolve form. Then one basic Pokemon is going to evolve twice. So it's going to have your stage 1 and your stage 2 evolution. Now, I don't see why you couldn't just mix and match these other basic Pokemon. Like, you don't have to have 4 Ponytas or something. You can have 4 different basic Pokemon here if you're not going to be evolving them. The reason why you want duplicates of the basic Pokemon you're evolving is so you have more of a chance you're going to pick up that basic Pokemon so that you can actually evolve it when you do pick up those stage 1 and 2 Pokemon. So I'm going to try and do water and probably rock. I was looking at my fire cards and I don't have enough strong Pokemon, but water, I think I'm going to go with a Blastoise deck. And then rock, I think I'll have something. So this is the water. What I like to do is like maybe have a Magikarp and then you can use a trainer. Like have a trainer that you're able to search your deck for a basic Pokemon and then you just have one Magikarp. And then that way if you pull that Gyarados and you have that trainer in your hand, then you can just search your deck for a Magikarp. Articuno, Lapras, these are Pokemon that are strong basic Pokemon. In these decks that I built, the decks that I showed you previously, I tried to make them even. So I didn't put crazy strong Pokemon. Pick maybe one newer card and they're all old cards. And so there's Blastoise, Wartortle, I've got Squirtle. This one's also interesting. Empoleon with the Piplup. Oh, and look, Prinplup, Pinplup, Empoleon. Actually, these are all part of an actual deck, which also came with Fraligator, Totodile, Croconaw. So we're gonna make a Blastoise deck. So I can make a strong deck. Just, okay, I have 2 like Lapras, Kyogre, Articuno. Then I want 2 of my stage 1, 1 of my stage 2, and 4 of these basic Pokemon. That way, it's a good chance I'm going to pull a Squirtle. Less of a chance, but also a good chance I'll pull that Wartortle. And that Blastoise will be rare to pull, but if I pull it, I'll have likely pulled my Wartortle and Squirtle. So those are going to be my water. I'm going to pick these strong ones. I'm not going to use the Magikarp and Gyarados. And then I'm going to pick some rock Pokemon. I have a whole container of energies over here. If I don't have rock, I might do grass. Maybe I'll do a Larvitar, Pupitar. This Celebrations deck came with a lot of like strong basic Pokemon. Could put a V card in, but the thing is with these ones, they're very strong. They usually use a lot of energies, but when they die, your opponent will gain 2 prize cards. So counts as 2 Pokemon. So we could put a V-Star in. Since we got a Blastoise over here, maybe we'll put one of these V cards. This is where you have the name that matters. Single Strike, Urshifu. Evolves from Single Strike, Urshifu V. So V Max cards evolve from the V cards. If the name doesn't say Single Strike, then you can't evolve it. You can't just you have to have the card that matches the name. Should I just do Piloswine because it's fun? Let's see if I have enough Swinubs. I like this card. Maybe I'll put one of these Vs. These guys are out of the question. I just want trying to make a simple deck right now. Again, Blaine's Mankey. It has to, if you have a Primeape, you can't evolve it from Blaine's Mankey. It has to be Blaine's Primeape. Pretty interesting. This is from the 2nd edition series. Here's a cool one. You got your electric Pokemon in the rock. I don't think I have enough Sandshrews to get a Sandslash. Maybe I'll do a Rhydon. So this is kind of the big grunt of the work. So there's 2 Rhydons. If I have 2 more Rhyhorns, let's see whichever one comes first. Will it be Rhyhorn or will it be Swinub? Will it be Pupitar? There's another Swinub. I don't want another Rhydon because I've got 2 here. I need more Rhyhorns. Well, I can definitely do Sandshrew, Sandslash. These old cards, they don't really put up against the new cards that well, but maybe just for the sake of building the deck. Well, here's some better Pupitars. There, I'll go with this. So 2 Pupitars, 40 HP, 60. So the Pokemon Go cards are pretty good. Another thing you want to look at is this number, this letter at the bottom. So the letters on the cards represent which standard edition it's a part of. And so every year, the Pokemon cards will have a different letter to indicate which standard that year of production of Pokemon cards are a part of. And if you're playing tournaments, there'll be rules and you'll only be able to use certain standards. And before those standard letter designations came about, we just kind of went by the year, and each year has kind of a standard set name. When I make my decks, I'm just playing amongst decks that I created or maybe against my friends. It's not tournament, it's nothing serious, and so I just make my deck with all of the standards included. Of course, you're gonna have maybe some banned cards that I don't have any, but if you did have them, it probably wouldn't be fair to include those in your deck because they're banned for a reason. They're just overpowered. So while I'm making this deck, I'm going to include all types of standards just for ease, and since the other decks I made are mixing really old cards with new cards, I'm going to go with these Larvitars. Then I've got 4 of the same basic Pokemon, 2 of the stage 1, and then I'm going to just pick 4 strong basic Pokemon. And I think I'll add one of these Vs. They're both pretty similar. All of your rock Pokemon take 20 less damage from attacks from your opponent's Pokemon V Max, which is good. But I'm not expecting to be facing any V Maxes. So let's go with this one. It's got 2 attacks and I can have just 1 energy attached and start attacking. So I'm picking this card as my strong basic Pokemon. We'll make this deck kind of elite. We've got some really strong. These celebrations cards are 130 basic Pokemon HP. That's crazy. But again, you gotta have 3. You gotta have 4 energies to do anything. Okay, well, you know what? For the sake of this video, I'm picking these 4 cards. So I've got 4 basic here, 4 basic here, and then I've got my 4 of a kind, plus the 2 stage 1s and the 1 stage 2, and I've got my 4 of a kind and this 2 stage 2. So that makes 16 plus 5, 21 cards. Where are the other 39 cards? Well, 28 of them are going to be energy cards, and 11 of them are going to be trainer cards. And as I said, you're only allowed 4 of the same named cards other than with energies. So I'm going to pull out my energies. I always try to sort everything. So this is going to be what? Fire. There we go. Water and rock. So I like to sometimes have the dual normal energy. It's in one of those pre-made decks, but it basically counts as 2 normal energies, which is nice if you add those normal cards. But I'll usually add the normal type Pokemon after I tested out the deck. Like, do I need more basic Pokemon instead of energies or trainers? Or is the deck, am I pulling the cards that I want? 14 of each. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you haven't played the game before, essentially what you're doing is putting up Pokemon and one at a time facing your opponent, and you have a bench of Pokemon, and you can play as many basic Pokemon as you want at a time, but you can only play 1 energy per turn. So you have to be strategic about where you're putting your energy. Is this Pokemon going to faint before I even get energies on it? So am I wasting my turns putting energies on this Pokemon where I should just be filling up the energies on the other Pokemon? Like, will I ever be able to evolve this Pokemon? Or if I put energies now, will I be able to attack my opponent? That way they can't put energies or their energies get wasted. But the energies are the hardest part, is getting those energies on the Pokemon, because you can just play basic Pokemon, 5 on your bench, 1 on your attacking zone, and never have energies, and you could just not do anything but sit there and take hits. And so you want to have those, and it's why there's so many. A lot of times I might have just 12 of each, and then I'll add some extra Pokemon, because if you're not pulling basic Pokemon, you have nothing to fight, and then you lose. You have only 1 Pokemon and your opponent destroys it. Even if they have all 6 prize cards, you lose because you have no Pokemon to defend with after that. Now, on your first hand, if you don't have any Pokemon, basic Pokemon, you can take a mulligan, which basically you reshuffle your hand into the deck, you pull another 7, then play your basic Pokemon if you got it, but then your opponent gets to draw an extra card for each mulligan that you take. So now I've got my energies and I have my Pokemon. And so now I'm going to add the trainers. I love the Blaine's quiz. They're all in these other ones, but I've got a picture. I'll like zoom in on it. They're not that great of cards, but they're pretty fun, and that's why I like to add them. Stadium cards. So if I play a stadium card, it stays on the stadium until somebody else plays a stadium card to replace it. I believe that's how it goes. For instance, during each player's turn, that player may choose to discard an energy card attached to one of his or her Pokemon with Erica in its name that player does so, that Pokemon is no longer asleep, confused, paralyzed, or poisoned. Now, I don't like getting rid of my energy, so I would never use that. Here's another one. Whenever a player attacks with a Pokemon with Lieutenant Surge in its name, he or she may flip a coin. If heads, and if that Pokemon's attack does damage to the defending Pokemon, that attack does 10 more damage to the defending Pokemon. If tails, the attacking Pokemon does 10 damage to itself, in addition to whatever attack usually does. So both players can use this, but if I have a deck with all Lieutenant Surge Pokemon in it, what are the chances that my opponent has it? But again, you're taking a chance with that. Here's another one. Whenever a Pokemon with Giovanni in its name evolves, its owner removes 2 damage counters from that Pokemon. Pretty sure I got these. They were a Lieutenant Surge deck, an Erica deck, a Giovanni deck, and they were pre-built decks, and that's why I have so many cards with the names in them. Of course, I traded them. Pokeballs are good because you can get Pokemon out of your deck. So MasterCard is look at the 7 cards from the top of your deck. You may choose a basic Pokemon or evolution card from those cards. Show it to your opponent, then put it in your hand. Shuffle the rest. So this one I'm able to get an evolution card, but you're only looking at the top 7. Or you can get a basic card. This one's a flip a coin. So Pokeball, of course, is not as strong. But if you flip a coin and it's heads, you can get a basic or an evolution card again. These supporter cards, you can only play once per turn. It's a new thing. Before it used to just be trainer cards. Now there's supporter cards. There's, I think they're called equipment cards. This is recovering from special conditions. Sleep is fun. You're putting your opponent to sleep. But again, these are flip a coin, so it's chance. This one, until the end of your opponent's next turn, prevent all damage from attacks done to your benched Pokemon. So this protects your benched Pokemon. It's a Pokemon tool. Attach a Pokemon tool to one of your Pokemon that doesn't already have a Pokemon tool attached to it. So you can attach this to your Pokemon and it remains with them for that game. And you can play as many as these as you want. The supporter cards you can only play once. If the Pokemon this card is attached to has weakness to your Pokemon's active type Pokemon, its attack does 30 more damage to your opponent's active before applying weakness. That's another reason why you want to have 2 different kinds of Pokemon with different kinds of weakness in your deck. Because if you have these item cards that have these conditions, and I only have one type of weakness, what are the chances that my opponent's going to be using that type of card? If you have multiple types of weaknesses in your deck, then you'll find something with a weakness to your opponent's card and you can use that. So I don't like energy cards where it's all up to chance. I like energy cards like potions. This one's good. Oh, this is good. Energy removal. You remove an energy from one of your opponent's Pokemon. You can put up to 4. I'm going to put 4 aside because you can put up to 4 in your deck. Energy switch. So you can switch one of your energies to a different Pokemon. I like switch better than energy flow. Energy flow, I'm going to put 2 maybe. Energy flow is you can take energies back from your Pokemon. But I'd rather do a switch where I can just switch it to another Pokemon. This is good. Switch. When you want to switch one of your Pokemon, there's a retreat cost. Here, there's 4 energy retreat cost. If I want to remove this from the attacking spot and put it on my bench, I need to remove 4 energies from it. Switch, you can just switch without having to remove any energies. Gust of Wind. Choose one of your opponent's bench Pokemon and switch it with his or her active Pokemon. This is great if they have a weak Pokemon on their bench. They're destroying you with their Pokemon in their attack spot. You get them to switch that weak Pokemon and you can destroy it. Of course, they're going to put their strong Pokemon back, but at least you can buy yourself some time or you can get yourself a prize card. This is great if you have 1 prize card left and they have a weak Pokemon on their bench. So let's take 2 of those. I like Bill. Draw 2 cards. 2 of those. We want some potions. There we go. Super potion is discard 1 energy and remove up to 4 damage counters. Or we could get just regular potions is 2 damage counters. There's another one, but I think I used them all. I think it's Poke Center or something like that. Pokemon Center. Remove all damage counters from all of your own Pokemon with the damage counters on it. Then discard all energies attached to those Pokemon. So I'll put 1. I like to have those fun ones like Blaine and they change things up. Like with Yu-Gi-Oh, you have all these trap cards, But usually with my trainer cards, I start with the basic and then I'll see what's happening. What do I need? Like, do I need more energies? Do I need something else? Or sometimes I might build a deck based on a trainer. Like maybe I'm going to use that Lieutenant Surge Stadium card, and so then I'm going to make a Lieutenant Surge deck or something. I always start off basic. You always want your potions. I want 11 cards in total. We're going to have 2 bills. We're going to have 2 of these. So that's 4. That's 8. Oh man. 9, 10, 11. Let's get rid of a potion and take one of these. And I want that Master Ball. So I've got 2 potions, but I've also got the Pokemon Center one. So let's take a Master Ball. What I've got are 2 Pokeball so I can get some Pokemon from my deck. I've got energy removal so that I can take energies off of my opponent's deck. I've got some potions / healing cards. And another one, move energies around. I've got switching Pokemon around so that you don't need to lose your energies when you're switching Pokemon. And I like the Gust of Wind because if you're in a tight spot and you have Gust of Wind, you're able to make your opponent have to change their cards around. And if they don't have energies in their hand, they can't switch the Pokemon back, then that can save you a couple turns and draw 2 cards. There's no limit of how many cards you have in your hand. I should actually have 4 of these, and then maybe it's a better chance of picking up an energy or getting something else, but that's what I'm going with. So now if we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60 cards. And then what I would do, so I would get some sleeves and I would sleeve it up. And then that way, when you're playing, you know whose deck is who. And it's just so nice. It's just so much nicer to shuffle. All your cards are protected. Everything's uniform. I love these ones with the color on the back and the black on the front. And then you got a deck. You test it out, and in a future video, I'm going to be testing these out. And from your tests, you want to take out energies, add basic Pokemon, add maybe some stronger Pokemon, add maybe you want more energies. Maybe you pulled a trainer card. I remember in one of my last pulls, I pulled a trainer card that I really liked. Maybe you pull a trainer card in a card opening and you just use that. You're like, oh, I'm going to, remove an energy because I've got so many energy cards in my deck. I'm putting this trainer card in it because it's sick. No, I don't know. Maybe you'll have a card with a special effect. And so then you'll strategically use other cards so that you have a cascade of effects happening. There's some players that they'll just completely destroy you because, oh, I played this card and that means I can pull this energy and attach these energies to these cards, and all of a sudden all of their cards have energies even though they only played 1 or 2 turns, and now you're out of luck. I like to just build decks on my own, have even cards, so when you play against each other it's fair and you just have fun with some simple cards, some simple decks. So that's going to be my plan for these decks that I've built, is I want to test them out. I want to make sure that they're actually fair against each other, because I have played a couple rounds and there's one deck that I like. I think it's the Mew deck, and the Pokemon are just the HP or something about it. They're just not strong. And so every time I play against that deck, it's always a loser. And so I'm probably going to work on that one and make it a little bit better. And you'll see that in the future. Well, this is how I make a deck. It isn't all just in one sitting. You end up having to play the game and adjust your deck to make it work for you. If you have any suggestions on how I should improve it, and let me know if you make your deck in a different way, or if you have any secrets of making a more strategic deck, let me know in the comments. And if you've watched up until now, I really appreciate it. Do all that fun stuff, like, comment, subscribe, and play on.